The scapegoat is conditioned to be constantly available, and that conditioning is solidified with the emotion of guilt, which says that it is our fault and our responsibility if the other, meaning the toxic system or the toxic relationship, doesn't feel all that satisfied with our availability. So, why do we stay in this role of constant availability in relationships? It's because there is a promise there is a hope there that says that if we continue with the constant availability, that at some point the relationship will become reciprocal, meaning that we will also get some of our needs met from the availability of the other, meaning the toxic system. But in the world of the toxic system, that reciprocity or availability, especially for our emotional needs, never really comes. So this creates this never-ending cycle of the scapegoat or the one person being constantly available and giving, and the toxic system or the other person being the one that is just constantly taking and not giving anything in return. So this sort of dynamic usually produces resentment and anger, and the only way in which the scapegoat can feel anger is to not express it externally to the toxic system, because that would endanger the relationship, but to turn it inwards towards themselves. And that anger usually turns into guilt as well. And that guilt perpetuates the illusion that if we were more available, that somehow the toxic system would also become available to us. In reality, a one-way relationship that is not reciprocal only makes sense in a relationship and dynamic between a mother and her baby. But in other relationships, that dynamic is really toxic and unfulfilling. And with that dynamic, we eventually internalize the narrative that we are not worthy of a reciprocal relationship, that this is somehow our fault. So for the scapegoat, that means that they persist in their constant availability with the hope that the relationship with the toxic system will become reciprocal and loving. But what they are doing in reality is that they are denying their own availability to themselves in a relationship that is not reciprocal. And with that, they are also losing the availability to other people and other systems outside of the toxic system that truly have the potential to show us that reciprocal and loving relationships are possible, but that they start with our own availability to ourselves that showcases to the other